you seen Star Wars?
We all knew this was going to happen. We all knew eventually we would have to continue the story that the Ahsoka series started. And now, thanks to the announcement that they had on the 11th of January that Mandalorian and Grogu was going to be a new Star Wars film, they also announced on the Star Wars website that Dave Filoni is currently working on Season 2 of Ahsoka. So I believe that means it's greenlit. That was one of the big concerns initially, is that they said it hadn't been greenlit by Disney. That doesn't seem to be the case anymore. So I'm happy this is happening. I'm happy that this announcement came with the movie announcement. I'm happy that we're continuing with the Ahsoka series and not just doing, oh, let's wrap up the Baylan story arc and Thrawn and everything in the movies. We need to continue this stuff a little bit in the live-action shows and in the live-action series of Ahsoka. And I've said before, I wasn't a big fan of the Ahsoka series. I didn't love it to death. But I will say, I do look forward to a second season. I do like a lot of what that series was setting up and going for. It's always the execution that you can have a problem with, and I had a few fundamental disagreements with this series. But episodes 4 and 6 were the highlights to me. They were better than almost anything, if not everything, that we had from Mandalorian Season 3. They are really good peak Star Wars episodes. So I do want to see this story continue, mostly with Baylan. Baylan, Skull, and that journey to the Mortis gods and all that stuff that he's on. We have to finish that. That is too intriguing of a story to let go. Ahsoka and Sabine being trapped on the planet isn't the most interesting thing in the world to me, but with this concept art that Dave Filoni sketched up and Lucasfilm released, we know that this is where the story is going. Ahsoka and Sabine are going to probably feel that call from the light side of the Force or whatever's calling Baylan, and they're going to follow, and you see them on the finger of the father pointing to whatever Baylan is looking for. They're following Baylan. So we know this is all going to lead back together with Ahsoka, Sabine, maybe even Shin reuniting with Baylan and having to deal with whatever he's looking for. But this story has to continue. Now that we know we're getting a Mandalorian and Grogu film, and we're getting a Mandoverse film by Dave Filoni, this story has to be fleshed out in a way that makes it feel satisfying when we go to see it in theaters. This is going to be kind of a hardcore fan thing. If we see Thrawn as the main villain in this new Mandalorian films that we're getting, we might get a trilogy. You really have to set him up very well in this Ahsoka series. Season 1 started out pretty good with him. I think they, flopped it a little bit at the end with his character arc, but we need to know more about what his goals and his ambitions are and what's going to happen here with him as the villain and the kind of threat that he gives to the New Republic. So I hope Season 2 expands on that a little bit. I hope we get a lot more viewers for Season 2, because if this does lead into the Mandoverse movie by Dave Filoni, and that concludes this entire series and all these stories with Boba Fett and the New Republic people like Cobb Vanth and the Carson guy, the TIE fighter pilot, and then you got Din Djarin and Grogu and Ahsoka. Like, so many of these storylines are interconnected, even with like Bo-Katan and all the other Mandalorians, that with Thrawn you have to bring him in properly. You have to tell the story properly with Ahsoka as well, and have all this tie back together for when this movie actually does happen. So very excited about this news. Hopefully we get this series in 2025. Right before we start doing the Star Wars films. The story of Ahsoka needs to come to an end. And I feel like we're just now getting to a point where we can see that be a possibility, where maybe her story ends in the movies, or maybe this season you see something, not death-wise, but final with her, where she's like, okay, my story here is done. You guys take the mantle and keep going forward. But tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you want to see from Season 2? Are you excited about the possibility of getting a second season before we see the Mandalorian movie and the Dave Filoni Mandoverse film? A lot of good things are going on over there at Lucasfilm. It seems like they have at least the next 2 to 3 years planned out that they want to execute on some of these shows and these movies, and Dave Filoni's a big part of that, and so is Ahsoka. Comment your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. If you're still watching by this point, leave a like on this video and support the channel. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all next time, and may the Force be with you always.